Welcome to 2024 Pitt Football Pro Day at the UPMC Rooney Sports Complex in Pittsburgh. Jason Earl here with Pittsburgh Steelers reporter Missy Matthews and the former All-American tight end Dorian Dickerson. Missy, let's start with you. Such an important day today because the Combine is done, and this is kind of one final opportunity to make an impression for scouts.
Yeah, this makes you realize how close the NFL draft is, the weekend that is going to have all of these guys on pins and needles. But it's also a chance, if you weren't invited to the Combine, to get to know the personnel from the 32 NFL teams. And it's a chance for them to get to know these guys. Maybe they don't draft them, or maybe they're an undrafted guy. They also could be somebody they want to do business with in free agency. So an impression, needless to say, a very important one.
And Dorian, you've been through this process, played at Pitt, you got drafted into the NFL. What do you remember about this experience?
Honestly, I remember being little and dreaming of this moment. And then bang, you're here. You're running a 40. You're doing a vertical jump. And you're doing all these drills in front of scouts, in front of those logos. And the NFL is very real. And as we move closer to the draft, it gets even realer. So this is your last opportunity to showcase your skills as a potential NFL player.
So Pro Day all begins in the weight room. Each player gets their height and weight measured. And so now let's take some time to get into the top performers of the day, starting with the 40-yard dash where A.J. Woods, this was really the highlight of the entire afternoon.
And I think because A.J. Woods wasn't invited to the Combine, today's Pro Day was going to be so important to what he could do in terms of lifting up his draft stock. 49 appearances in games at cornerback and special teams over 5 years. And I think impressing scouts at the Shrine Bowl and then being able to do this store, and that's huge for him.
Absolutely huge. 5'11", 195 pounds. He's a grinder. I was talking to a couple scouts. They like him a lot. 4'3", 740 here today. I mean, that's making some money if you're A.J. Woods, and a guy that can play special teams at the next level, can play the gunner position, can play some kickoff, do all kinds of different things. He's a guy that a lot of NFL teams will be paying attention to. He made a lot of money today with running that 4.37.
Moving on to the vertical jump, Sibo Flemister had a good day there, the transfer from Notre Dame who spent the past couple years at Pitt.
You know, I go back to last year's Pro Day, Izzy Abanikanda. We saw what he was able to do in that drill as well, and he had a chance to work behind him. Depth can sometimes be an issue on getting on the field, but a great vertical jump for him.
Definitely, and he was a guy that they counted on towards the end of the year. And like you said, Jason, a transfer from Notre Dame, played a lot of years in college football and really got his opportunity at the latter half of the year last year, a 37.5-inch vertical. That shows your explosion, so a great number for Sibo Flemister. Hopefully he gets more opportunities at the next level.
For the broad jump, a big spot for Malcolm Epps, the big 6'6" tight end. This was a good spot for him.
You mentioned his size, Doran. This is your expertise, but that's a size that will intrigue NFL scouts.
I wish I had his size. I probably would have went first round, but I didn't. But yeah, Malcolm, he has 6'5", 250 pounds, ran decent today, and has the explosion as we talked about earlier with the vertical jump. The broad jump is an explosion drill as well. Hopefully he gets some opportunities at the next level as well. But a guy with great size, is a smooth route runner, made a nice catch today in the individual drills, looking to get more opportunities. A great number for Malcolm Epps.
And with the shuttle, let's go to Shane Simon, another transfer from Notre Dame. And he spent 2 seasons at Pitt, started every one of those games in his career as a Panther. He was really good in the shuttle.
And when you take over for Savasier Dennis, that's usually a good thing, being the primary, defensive quarterback for this type of defense that Pitt runs. That speaks volumes to him.
I was watching him a lot and intently throughout the season, and he reminded me of a grown man. Like, I was like, this guy, he looks like he's 26 years old. He's not, but he played that way, and he plays with that tenacity you need at the linebacker spot. And now he's showing his quickness with a 4.19 in the shuttle. That's a great time for a guy his size, 6'2", 235 pounds, trying to make some money.
We know what Pitt can do in terms of defensive linemen in the league. David Green was really good on the bench, and Jake Cradle on the offensive line as well.
Yeah, they always say above 20 is where you want to be when you're the big guys. And let's be honest, when you see what the NFL is all about right now, it starts at the line, whether it's offensive line or defensive line. That's how they're building teams, so great for them.
This is a great number for Jake Cradle, a guy who could be a swing guard. A swing guard means you can play left guard, you can play right guard, but you also can play center. Jake Cradle played some center this year, got injured a little bit, but that's a great number for him to show how strong he is in the trenches, but can play multiple positions. He had a smooth day as well.
We all know what Pitt defensive backs can do in the NFL, so for the 3-cone drill, let's look at Marquez Williams in his day there.
Yeah, I think, we talked to Coach Narduzzi about what DBs in this defense do and how they produce them, and one gets drafted and there's another one that pops up in spring ball and then you see it transition. And it was one of those days for him. The vocal leader, the competitive side, that's something that I'm sure scouts have seen during games and practices, and being able to do that as well is adding to his package.
He definitely plays with a chip on his shoulder. He's a smaller guy, smaller corner. Didn't give up any touchdowns this past year, so he's going to compete at the highest level. He wanted his times to be great today. He did compete, but he's a guy that you could count on. That you count on in your foxhole if you're an NFL football team. He competes every single day. He's smaller, but he has a big heart, so hopefully he gets some more opportunities too.
I feel great. I think I put everything together on one day. I was able to do all my technique well in all of the change of direction drills. I was able to hit a really good 40 and PR in my bench and my vertical.
Morning, guys. Ready to get some work done today? Spring ball. Heading to work this morning. It's good to have company in the morning. Spring ball is all about getting better. We get 15 days to go out and kind of go on our little revenge tour. Didn't get what we wanted a year ago, so to me, it just makes you even more hungry as a coach, as a football team, to go out there and really show who we really are. I think we got 22 new guys. It's been fun watching those guys run around the last couple of days, just getting started, getting the pads on. We've got 6 new coaches. The entire offense staff has been revamped. We're going to see some explosion on offense. We're going to see some excitement. We're going to see some tempo. We're going to get into more attack mode on defense. So I'll wake up at 4:30 every morning, get my workout in at the house, just so I'm done with it, got it in, and then jump in the car on a normal basis, have a bottle of water and say the rosary on my way into work. My daughter, who is a Catholic school teacher here in Pittsburgh, started a rosary club at her school. Something I'm really proud of her. She's kind of got me into it because she was doing it. I was like, shoot, if you're doing it, then I'm going to do it. Players learn from coaches, and coaches learn from players. And the same thing, parents learn from kids, and kids learn from parents. Not many guys get to coach that many years at one university. It's something I'm proud of. My family loves it here in Pittsburgh, and some people talk about coming through the tunnel. I never come through the tunnel and see Pittsburgh, but I see it coming from the north. It's a beautiful sight, and that invigorates me every day coming through, just seeing that, like, wow, I'm coaching for this city. I think some people on the outside maybe think about, like, you lost players, you lost coaches, oh man, what's going on, how's it gonna be? Like, change is good. Change refreshes everybody, and there's new ways of looking at things, and excited about year number 10. That's something I look back and go, wow. But I'd like year 10 to be a championship season too. Appreciate the company in here this morning. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Get to come to work here every day.
Happy to be joined now on set by Pitt head coach Pat Narduzzi, heading into year 10. Have you gotten used to the sound of that? How does it feel to be going into year 10?
Had a couple of the scouts, one I was a GA with at Miami of Ohio, saying year 10, holy cow. We were just talking about it about a half hour ago, but really worried about, this season, and you don't really think about those years, but, I'm getting awful old, that's for sure, Doran.
In terms of the pro day, Pitt has become the stop where so many guys are getting drafted from this program. 2021 to 23, 14 guys, most in the ACC. What does it mean to be one of those stops that are coveted by the scouts and coaches?
It means everything. I mean, I think that's what recruits are going to look at is, how many guys are you putting into the NFL? It's impressive to see some of our former players that are playing in the NFL now come back to watch their brothers, and they talk about that brotherhood and that family atmosphere. But that's what it's all about. I mean, these guys want to play to the next level. They want these opportunities to have a big show here like we have today at the Pro Day. And, that's what it's all about. That's what we train them for, is that next level. And I think we do as good a job as anybody in the country is developing our players.
Coach, you have some change going on with your offensive staff, and an explosive offense and Cade Bell, and a tempoed offense, something that, you're just not used to. But how important is your strength staff during this time whenever there's a new offense?
It's really important. Our defense is used to, seeing that tempo throughout the year. We used to get into spring ball and fall camp, and it's like slow down. They're waiting for an offense to break a huddle. So it's really helped our defense a lot. But as far as the strength coaches, we'll learn something from this, this off season. We practice, we're working out, January, to really March. We'll find out really where we are afterwards. We'll look at the densities of some of our workouts. We have GPSs on our kids every day so we can see what level we're getting at in practice, and then what do we got to train up to, this summer. So we'll have, a long summer to get ready for August, and that'll be a big part of it. Coach Stacchiotti does an outstanding job with his staff, and we'll be even better trained come fall.
Coach, over the years on Pro Day, we've seen a number of defensive backs step up, and sometimes under the radar guys. Today, A.J. Woods had a really good day. So what are you doing here at Pitt to prepare, especially these DBs, for a day like today and then to go to the next level?
Yeah, no question. I mean, everybody talks about, MJ and how dynamic he is and how explosive he is. But A.J. Woods is fast. He's got the great numbers, and he's a football player. A.J.'s going to get a chance somewhere. I mean, I look at guys like Damari Mathis that have gone on 4th or 5th rounder and go start with the Broncos. You look at Dane Jackson, what was he, a 7th round draft choice? 7th rounder. Just signed a big payday down in Carolina with the Panthers. So he's a Panther again, I guess. I think it comes down to what we do defensively. I think we're, that 4-3, the press quarters, putting those guys on an island out there. If you watch enough NFL football, they're playing press and they're playing man. They're not worried about zone coverage. It's just more man that you're seeing it more than ever. And that's what our guys do. Just the training, and, Coach Collins and Coach Sanders do a great job of that secondary.
I love the video of you driving to work. You let the video crew hop in the car with you, getting ready for spring ball. You're talking about the revenge tour almost, having guys like Rodley Hammond and Gavin Bartholomew stay because of unfinished business. How does that help you as you take that next step forward?
Everybody's got to have that attitude for sure, and Rodney and Gavin and the rest of the guys on this football team. I mean, it takes a team. We can't do it with 2 or 4 or 5. We need 11 on offense and defense, and really need 22 on both sides of the ball, and some specialists that are, going to, just do whatever it takes to get a win. It helps. I think, guys are a lot more hungry. You get sometimes slapped in the face like that. We're going to find out how they respond in 24. But it is a little bit of a tour that we're going to be on in 24.
Yeah, I mean, that just leads me into my, last question here. How do you breed competition every day? I mean, sometimes guys do have it. They bring it to the table themselves. But, for your day-to-day and operationally with your staff and with your team, how do you make sure that competition level is at an all-time high every single day?
Well, you either compete or you get embarrassed. That's the first thing, right? I mean, either compete or, you're going to look bad. And, the video's right there. And so I think, the biggest thing to competition is having 2 deep and guys to push you at each position. I mean, you look at our safety position. I mean, you got Donovan McMillan and P.J. O'Brien and Javon McIntyre, 3 guys that played a lot of football for us at the safety position. All of a sudden, Cruz Brookins is coming in. It's kind of like, holy cow, who is this guy? Jesse Anderson. That's just one position. But the more depth you have at those positions, the better the competition is.
Pat Narduzzi heading into year 10 with Pitt football this fall. Pat, thanks so much for the time.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
It's been great. Guys coming back to the facility, showing up, showing love, just giving their tips and advice of what they did when they went through the process and helping all of us out. And then us being back together, this is the first time we've been back since the end of the season. So seeing the guys, watching a couple of spring practices of the guys that I played with last year and the guys that are preparing for the draft like me, it was amazing. It was fun.
Welcome back to Pitt Football Pro Day as we continue going through some of the top performers here today. 12 guys participating in today's event. 3 were at the NFL Combine. And let's start with the 2-time All-ACC player, MJ Devonshire.
Yeah, had a chance to do some stuff at the Combine today, maybe not doing all of them, but we did get to see that individual work. And when you have a guy like him from Aliquippa, you can call Darrell Revis, you can call Ty Law, you know what it means to be in the NFL and when you're ready to get there. Knowing that he's the first Pitt player since Revis to have an interception for a TD and punt return in the same season for a TD, I think that speaks volumes. And playing in the East-West Shrine Bowl, being at the Combine, those interviews, those are all things that help.
So what are you looking for whenever you have MJ Devonshire here at a pro day? The scouts are looking for him to see how fluid he is in his hips, see if he can put his foot in the ground and break on footballs and just be that all-around athlete that we've seen for the last 2 years here at the University of Pittsburgh.
Looking at the wide receiver spot, Bub Means is a guy that really emerged as a top threat for Pitt in that area last season, and he's another one that was at the Combine too.
Yeah, and Mel Kiper Jr., I think we all know the name when you're talking about the draft. That rings a bell, and on his podcast called him a sleeper receiver, somebody to be watching out for, especially with the slot and the different things that NFL offenses are doing now. But as you said, 2 seasons, over 1,000 receiving yards, 8 touchdowns, 62 carries. Not too bad.
6'1", 212 pounds. I mean, if you want to drop a receiver, a prototypical receiver, that's what it would be. I mean, he ran a 4.4 at the Combine. The guy has all the measurables and all the freakish natures, things that you need to be a good receiver. They wanted to see him get in and out of breaks today. They wanted to see his, how he looks the ball and to see if he does have that hand-to-eye ratio where you can just naturally catch footballs. So Bub Means going out here, didn't drop a football, I don't believe. That is a good sign for the next level, and we'll see where he ends up in the draft.
Especially big day for Matt Gonzalez on the offensive line because he's coming off an injury, didn't go at the Combine, which makes today all more important.
A team captain and somebody that I'm sure NFL scouts are looking at saying, hey, he could play tackle, he could play guard. What can we do with him? And sometimes when injuries happen, as Pitt has experienced, you need guys like that.
You're absolutely right, Missy. I mean, we talked about Jake Cradle earlier being that swing guard. Can you play left guard, right guard, and center? Matt Gonzalez, he can play right tackle, he can play left tackle, he can play left guard, he can play right guard. The more you can do, the better in the NFL. And the more you can offer to a team, the higher priority you will be. He has good size. He benched pretty well. This was his opportunity to showcase his skills, and he did well today.
I get more and more excited every single day that I learn the offense because I see how unique our offense is going to be. And even though it's not there right now, it's going to be there. Coach Bell is going to work tirelessly to make sure that our guys are put in the positions to go make plays. And that makes it so dang excited as a position coach within that.
Go, 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 Gavin!
So excited to be joined now by Cade Bell, entering his first season as Pitt offensive coordinator. Cade, welcome to Pittsburgh. You've been here, about 3 months now? Are you getting settled in?
Oh, yeah, loving it. Family loves it. Good to be in a big city. Just the football vibe here and the way they love football. It's been great. So I'm really enjoying it.
What has it been like this spring installing this up-tempo offense, something that's a little bit different than what Pitt has been used to in years prior and how guys are reacting to it?
It's been good, we put a lot on them. We're trying to get through basically the whole offense here in spring. So we're going to give it all to them now so they can study. And then, hey, we'll start back over in the summer, back to the first install and do that again in fall camp. So different challenge because it's just so different than the past. So just getting to understand how we think, why we're doing things. They're starting to pick it up and understand, and that's what's fun about it.
So everybody talks about your energy. You're a high energy guy. You bring it every single day. Is that something that you're born with? Is that something that you, initially started your coaching career with? Or is that something that you try to get everybody to match your intensity every single day and how important it is and how involved and invested you are? Is that something that is just you?
Yeah, I feel like I've always had a chip on my shoulder, even as a player, I'm growing up. Kind of think started from my family. My family is very competitive. My dad was a walk-on quarterback at University of Florida, 8th string. And ended up being a, all SEC player of the year and then drafted and played professionally. So he had that chip on his shoulder. And we were kind of raised like that, always do more, always push, you can always get better. And I always bring that, that mentality, I want to be the best. And I want to have the best offense. I want our guys to have success. I want them to have fun playing football. Football's got to be fun, right? And I wake up every day to kind of bring that mentality. Hey, we're here to get better. We're here to, to prove people wrong, and that's kind of who I've always been.
Pat Narduzzi said you are one of the most dynamic and aggressive offensive minds in college football. So in your words, what makes your offense unique that we'll see this fall?
I think what makes us unique is how fast we can go, but then all the things that we can do that looks really complex to the defense. I think we can go really fast and look simple and play with speed and play with a lot of confidence and attack people, but I also think that we're able to do motion and do a lot of our stuff really fast the way the system was built. I truly believe to be great at something, you got to work at it, right? You got to do it a million times over and over again. And to be great at throwing the ball, you got to practice it. Things sometimes a little different than running the ball. When you throw the ball, there's a lot of bad things that can happen, right? Offensive lineman falls down, or receiver runs the wrong route, quarterback's got nowhere to go with it. There's a million things that can go wrong, right, when you throw the football, and that's why it's so hard, you know? When you grow up in Little League, the first thing they teach you how to do is what? Run the football, right? Because it's easy. You know, you give it to your best players, and you block them, and he goes and makes plays, right? I think throwing the football is tough. And so one thing that we're working on is, hey, how great can we throw it? You know, can we go out there on first down and throw the ball versus load the box and be efficient at it? And so now it opens up the run game, you know? And to me, that's what a great offense is, where you can be balanced.
What have you seen from your quarterback room so far this spring, and what does a quarterback need to do successfully to make this offense go?
The biggest thing I've seen is we got guys who are pros when it comes to their mentality. They really study, they ask really good questions to understand that, hey, everything in this offense is a process, right? Do the same process over and over again, and it's okay to just take what they give you, right? Be patient. The big throws will be there, and your eyes will get really wide, is what I say, right? When that big throw's there, you know, first read, it's going to be, your eyes are going to get wide, right? It's going to be a layup, right? But when it's not, right, we have to be efficient, and we got to take care of the football. If we do those things, we're always going to stay in good down distance, and we're going to be able to, for me, call it aggressive, right? Because when I got a quarterback that can be efficient, that can take care of the football, I can really call any play I want, right? Because I know that, hey, he's going to check it down, or he's going to run for 2 or 3 yards. Just playing fast and having that type of mentality.
So I'm a huge tight end guy. I love my tight end brothers, love my tight ends. Gavin Bartholomew, a guy of his talent. Well, how can you use him in different ways or as a traditional tight end?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I love the Chiefs. I love what they'll do on offense. Andy Reid, you know, does an awesome job. Just watching that offense and how they use Travis Kelce, you know, and the way, you know, they move him around and create matchups for not just him but for others. Gavin's, to me, you know, that type of guy athletically where you can get the ball to him in space. You can get him out and, you know, not just throw it to little guys. You know, sometimes let the little guys block and let him get the ball, right? Let him run with it because he's so athletic. You know, he can get you at least 3 or 4 and maybe more if he runs to a tackle, you know.
Well, Kate, if you model some things after the Kansas City Chiefs, I think you'll be in good shape. So
yeah, exactly. You know, yep. Great job. You know, just like I said, you know, game plan, trying to help guys get open. You know, we can't rely on our players all the time to go win, right? We have to do a great job as coaches understanding our strengths and weaknesses, and then, hey, how do we put our guys in position to be successful?
Well, you led the best offense in the FCS a season ago. I know we're all looking forward to seeing what you can do this fall at Pitt. So thanks so much for the time.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
So let's take a look at the Pitt Panthers' fall schedule. Missy, what game stands out to you?
I'm a backyard brawl gal. I've loved it since the Big East, and I just think that's one that has reignited this fan base, the rivalry. MJ Devonshire's here. We remember what he did when it first came back to Pittsburgh. And, of course, Clemson. You always want to face the best teams that you possibly can, and I think those are 2 that stand out.
Yeah, and Doran, it's going to be weird seeing Cal and SMU on the schedule this fall as ACC games.
No, it definitely is. I mean, traveling to Dallas, SMU, and then hosting Cal, that is very interesting. It's you know, different in uncharted territories, but I know that the Panthers will be up for the challenge. It's a big year for the Panthers, a bounce back year. I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up the backyard brawl, just like Missy said. I mean, it's one of those games that you just pay attention to. Love that it's been back. 13-9, I was a part of that, so a lot of talking smack, if you will. A lot of great games on the schedule: SMU, Cal, West Virginia, Clemson. I'm excited for the Panthers and the opportunity they have in front of them.
Well, another Pitt Pro Day in the books, and Missy, we know this is one of the best programs in the country at producing NFL talent, and that was on display again today.
Yeah, for the Pitt Panthers from 2021 to 2023, 14 guys have been selected in the draft. That's first in the ACC. Clemson has 13. And I think, Doran, when you see that you're losing All-Americans, you have 2 first-round draft picks the past 2 years. This is a place to come if you want to make it to the next level. And today we saw some guys increase their chance of being another one.
Yeah, who wants to be next? Who wants to be the next All-American? Who wants to be the next person to run a 4.3 at the Pro Day? Who wants to jump a 40-inch vertical? You will have your opportunity if you're a player. If you're here at the University of Pittsburgh, you will have opportunities at the next level. But I say this every single year. It's not how you get in the NFL, it's how you stay in the NFL. If everybody remembers that, if you get an opportunity, you take advantage of every single opportunity you get, because it's not how you get in. You could be a first-round pick, you could be undrafted. It's how you stay in the NFL.
Thanks to Doran Dickerson, Missy Matthews, Jason Earl saying so long from Pitt Football Pro Day. We'll leave you with some sights and sounds from the day here on the South Side in Pittsburgh.